To feel her is to be underwater, speaking in bubbles and watching the sea life slip past your eyes like captions for the hearing impaired. The rush and ripple of waves tickling your hairs, each follicle, every split in the skin, breaking and receding. Or to be under a waterfall, gusts of cold shock coming uninterrupted and with pebble interjections from time to time, arms up, raised high in eternal ecstasy of a single moment. Or to fly, gliding through clouds and the ozone or interzone, or the intervals of the commute, customs after airport security, a snake undulating in the grooves between bodies, between spaces, between the spaces between space. Or to ride, in the passenger seat or simply as a passenger, head hanging out the half-held sliding translucence, with the illusory blue line on the left, right, and above all else, above, invisible stitching of the sky, or simply the continuous seawall, a reflection or refraction or induction deduced by binoculars miles and miles and miles away from shore, unless it's a block away and you're driving through the boardwalk, or a billboard of the same thing passing, and all of life is illusion anyway except feeling, which is what I set out to say, or to speak, specks of language, expressions ebbing and departing before I can pinpoint the details, exact specifications and dimensions of the way she feels, or the way I feel when I'm inside her and she inside me, turning inward as two shells cupped to each ear, to a particular song at a particular moment when I play this back on memory, by which I mean my mind's eye, always set to record and never fully pause for anything other than scribbles, sentence fragments, a mass of letters, trying to recall enough to play it back at some other time, afraid to finally stop, afraid to come to the end, to say goodbye, to call it quits with a hard return, and a period too. Play this back to the end, to say goodbye, to call me afraid, to finally stop, afraid to come. Play it back at some other time with letters, trying to recall enough to scribble sentence fragments amassed and never fully pause for anything other than, I mean my mind's eye, always set to record when I play this back on memory, by which a particular song at a particular moment, a sensation heightened if I'm listening to fleeting moments between here and there, the roar of the past, a distant memory, us turning inward as two shells cupped to each ear. I feel when I'm inside her and she inside me, and dimensions of the way she feels or the way I can pinpoint the details, exact specifications of language, expressions ebbing and departing before, which is what I set out to say, or to speak, specks, and all of life is illusion anyway except feeling, or a billboard of the same thing passing. And you're driving through the boardwalk, away from shore unless it's a block away, deduced by binoculars miles and miles and miles of wall, a reflection or refraction or induction of the sky or simply the continuous sea, and above all else, above, invisible stitching with the illusory blue line on the left, right, the half-held sliding translucence or simply as a passenger, head hanging out between space, or to ride in the passenger seat, bodies between spaces, between the spaces, a snake undulating in the grooves between the commute, customs after airport security, or interzone, or the intervals gliding through the clouds and the ozone ecstasy of a single moment, or to fly to time, arms up, raised high in eternal pebble interjections from timefall, gusts of cold shock coming uninterrupted, breaking and receding, or to be under your hairs, each follicle, every split in the skin impaired, the rush and ripple of waves tickling past your eyes like captions for the hearing in bubbles, and watching the sea life slip. To feel her is to be underwater, speaking.